Sometimes on cool evenings, I like to go for a walk. Not because I necessarily need the exercise, though I'm sure I do. And not because my watch tells me that I need more steps. And not necessarily because I have somewhere I need to be. Usually it's just I want to be outside. And for the first few minutes of these walks, I catch myself walking exactly the same way I always do. Purposefully, efficiently, as though there were a finish line waiting somewhere ahead. And one time, recently, I caught myself doing this again. And I stopped and I laughed. Because I realized that there wasn't a finish line waiting somewhere ahead. So I slowed down. Not dramatically, but intentionally. And just enough to let the evening introduce itself to me and for me to, say hello back. It's amazing how much of life appears the moment we stop rushing through it. Suddenly we notice that breeze that had been there all along. We see the neighbor tending their flowers. We hear the distant sound of children inventing games that we would never think as adults to play. Or someone practicing the piano with the windows open. Then there's that dog enthusiastically greeting every single person as they pass by, as though each one were an old friend. But none of those things suddenly appeared. But I had suddenly appeared. And I wonder how often things like this, really life, has been patiently waiting for me to catch up. The world we live in celebrates speed. We've got to have faster internet. We've got to have faster travel. We've got to get our answers more quickly. Even our conversations sometimes feel hurried, as though silence has become something to avoid. But some of the finest things in life refuse to be rushed. Things like friendship, trust, good music, gardens. You can't rush a garden growing. Or just how to make really good bread takes time. You can't rush a sunrise, and you can't rush a sunset. Or a child's story. No, none of those things become better because we hurry. In fact, they ask exactly the opposite of us. These things invite us to stay a little longer. And I've noticed that some of my favorite memories all have something in common. Nobody was watching the clock. We lingered after dinner. We took the scenic route home simply because it was prettier. Someone told another story, and someone else laughed so hard that they couldn't finish their story. Or the conversation wandered without any particular destination. And looking back, I couldn't tell you how long those evenings lasted. I couldn't tell you what time they started or what time they ended. I only wish that they had lasted a little longer. And perhaps that's one of the quiet gifts of growing older. We slowly begin to trade efficiency for appreciation. And it's not because we've become less ambitious, but rather because we've begun recognizing what things deserve our attention. And children seem to understand this instinctively. If you walk with a child, you'll quickly discover that getting somewhere is rarely the most important thing on their mind. Every interesting rock deserves inspection. A crack that you had never noticed before suddenly has an ant or a bug in it that the child wants to look at. Now, adults sometimes call that, distraction. But I think if we could see how a child described it by looking inside their head, they would likely call it just living. So one evening recently, I was sitting outside and I was watching the evening light as it kind of receded down the mountainside and gradually through the leaves on the trees, and it just kind of filtered through the leaves. And that lasted only a few minutes. Nothing extraordinary happened. And yet, after that, I felt strangely refreshed. Not because the world had changed, but because for one brief moment, I had allowed myself to be fully present inside that moment in the world. And that feels like a lesson to me worth remembering. I don't believe we need more life. I think we need to experience more of the life we already have. We need to have more conversations without glancing at our phones. More meals that aren't hurried. More evenings outside. And more reasons to say, let's stay a little longer. Because life never asks us to race through it. It quietly invites us to participate in it, to notice, to delight, to be surprised, to look up, to smile, to say yes when someone asks, would you like to take a walk? And I hope I can continue to try to figure out a way to always accept that invitation. So in the next few days, if you find yourself with 10 unexpected minutes, take them. Step outside. Walk without a destination in mind. Leave that hurry behind. And there's a good chance that life has been waiting very patiently to show you something beautiful. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me today. This is The Quiet Between, and I'm Mark Ammons. Until next time, may your conversations linger a little longer, and may your footsteps slow just enough so that you can discover that some of life's greatest gifts are found at a different pace, a pace that allows your heart to keep up.